We're back with you live at the Daytona International Speedway alongside Ned Jarrett, Chris Economaki. Working in the pits today, it's Mike Joy and Dave Despain. We are under caution after a major accident in turn 4. Here's the latest report on Richard Petty. He has a broken right ankle, is in stable condition, and is being taken to the Halifax hospital. The other drivers involved in the incident, Alan Kowicki, Phil Barkdahl, Eddie Bierschwell, Brett Bodine, and A.J. Foyt have been released from the infield medical center here at the Daytona International Speedway. Now, in further news, the press room is reporting that no one was hurt in the grandstand areas. That car rocketed along the fence. No one hurt in the grandstand area. Now let's get the story from Brett Bodine.
Brett Bodine, you were among the cars that slammed into Richard Petty. Your view of what happened?
Well, when I came off the 4th turn, it was just a junkyard out there, and I tried to take the low line through the wreck, and just as I made a commitment to go low, I cut a right rear tire down. The car started turning sideways, and Richard come off the wall, and I couldn't control the car and run into him.
At that point, there was just junk all over the place down there.
Yeah, it was just pieces laying everywhere, and just unfortunate that we ended up hitting him again. He'd already taken a bunch of licks before I got there, and you know, we tried to miss everything, but unfortunately, we couldn't miss him when he come off the wall.
Still a bit of a madhouse down here. Thank you, Brett. Phil Barkdahl also involved out there. Your second year of tough luck down here at Daytona. First of all, you're okay.
Well, I'm all right. I'm sorry about the deal that happened to Richard, but you know, that's racing, but I'm just very sorry about that.
What did you see? How did it happen?
Well, I don't know if I got tagged. I know Richard started turning, and I tagged him in the back, and it started a situation where, you know, where he got in the wall, or got upside down and got in the wall. But we were all bunched up there together, and I don't know if something happened to his car, but when he slowed or turned or something anyway, I hit him. I know I touched him in the back and started to. I don't know if I started, but helped the situation that was going on there. I looked at Mayor, and he's upside down, and I was worried about him more than I was worried about myself.
You two were right together on Thursday when he got loose too. Is there something about the air on the back of his car? Did you notice any handling problem with it?
I don't think that that's a deal. I just think it's a deal that we're all in that corner together, and if his car got loose, he'll probably have to tell you about that more than I can. I'm just sorry that it happened, and I was involved in it, and the other drivers too that were running good. We was running good, and I know Richard was running good, and. But just one of those bad deals in racing. I hope nobody got hurt in the stands. I know some stuff went up in there, but, you know, we're worried about that also.
Word from there is that all the fans are okay, and we're going to go down pit road now to Mike Joy.
Dave, we're back at the garage area with Eddie Bierschwell's car. Buddy Parrott is the man with the hammer. He's the crew chief. As soon as he heard his driver was okay, he said from 500 feet away, this thing's not that bad. We can fix it and get back in the race. The damage is largely cosmetic. Let's take a look inside and see what protects these drivers from serious injury. In addition to the roll cage and the padding, new to NASCAR racing in the last couple of years is this metal seat. It's padded and vinyl covered, but even where it wraps around, this seat is designed to bend in case of an injury, an impact. And if that seat gives, the driver's bone structure doesn't have to. Eddie walked away from this crash, and he'll be back here to drive this car again if they can get it repaired. Here's David Hobbs.
With me, I've got Alan Kowicki, who was always involved in that accident. You didn't actually tag one of the cars. You had a cut tire, right?
That's right. The accident happened ahead of us. We were slowing down. I really thought I'd make it through. I went in between two cars, but I ran over some debris and blew the right front tire out, and the car just went into the wall.
Well, all your crew have descended on the car like dervishes. You going to try and get back in the race?
Yes, we are. The car's hurt fairly badly. It'll never be the same, but it's a long season, and if we can pick up any points at all, it'll help later on in the season.
I see they're changing suspension as well as sheet metal. I mean, how much have you got to do to the car?
Well, it bent both of the A-frames for sure, and the steering linkage and all that will have to be replaced, but we'll try to get it running, and just too bad anytime you wreck here. You know, the Xerox Amoco 4 Thunderbird was running pretty good for us, and it's just too bad we got involved in that.
Well, there's Alan Kowicki, rookie 2 years ago. Let's go back up to Ken upstairs.
114 laps as they come by this time. They continue to work on the fences up here. About 20 feet of fence has been torn up by car number 53 as it went side over side along the fence. Let's go to Dave Despain.
We have seen the damage to Eddie Bierschwell's car. The good news is there doesn't appear to be a whole lot of damage to Eddie Bierschwell. Eddie, you okay?
Oh, I'm okay, Dave. Yes, the car's tore up.
You were right in the thick of it, apparently. Your view of what happened.
Well, not really. I wasn't really in the thick of it. I was behind the whole thing. I had the whole thing missed, and I run over a piece of debris and cut a tire down on the Wayne Page and Oldsmobile. And when it blew the right rear, I was on the brakes hard. Left brakes grabbed, and I shot, right down to Brett. Knocked Brett into Richard, and I hit Richard. So it's just a bad day for the Wayne Page and Olds. We had it really running good, and then had a good week, though.
Well, this may be good news for you. I hear they're down there working on your car. They may think this yellow is going to be long enough to get you back out there. You willing to go drive it a few more laps?
We're ready.
Okay, well, Eddie Bierschwell says, hey, I've still got some hours left in me today. He'll head back down to his pit to check on his car in what looks like it might be an extended yellow.
Again, updating, Richard Petty's condition is reported as stable, and he is suffering a broken right ankle and has been taken to the Halifax hospital. The other drivers involved have all been released. Let's look again at what happened here moments ago at lap 106 of the Daytona 500.
And Ken, Phil Barkdahl did say that he hit Petty, whether Petty had slowed a little bit, whether the car got out of shape a little bit, but once he did hit him again, and it sent the car up in the air, then it got on its nose as it got against the fencing and continued to barrel roll down the track.
Now here's another angle. You see those snap rolls?
I counted 7 rollovers there before the car came to rest. This crash will undoubtedly end the career of Richard Petty, I would think. I would think the pressures from his family and so forth, and his medical condition. He's had half his stomach removed with ulcer problems. He's had bones broken. And I would think that at 50, whatever it is, years of age, Richard Petty would start thinking seriously about retiring.
What do you think,
Chris, he might start thinking about it, but it's my opinion that we'll see him back out here again. I think that he'd want to prove to himself that he could still do it and that he could come back out. I think he wants to retire in a different way than as a result of an accident.
Let's go right to the pits and Dave Despain.
We're back at the hospital area with finally an eyewitness account here regarding Richard Petty's condition. Cousin Dale Inman, you've been down this road a time or two before in this man's long career. How is he?
Well, I talked to him before he, just quickly stopped, and I said, how are you? I was still on the radio with him. He said, I'll talk to you when I get my breath. And when they was putting him in the ambulance, I got there and rode in with him, and he might have a broke ankle or sprained real bad. There was no compound fracture, nothing the doctor said. They got a neck brace on him, but he's raised up and looked around with it, so I don't think his neck's hurt, and he's got just a little bitty scratch right there. Nothing, doesn't think a stitch or nothing, and he's alert. He said he got a little bit sideways, and that Ford behind him, whoever he was, he said a Ford hit him, and then it just turned everything loose. And but the worst thing about it, nothing in here hurt. He told the doctors, he said, I'm okay all in here, because he's had to talk to him before, I guess. But they got a splint on his leg right now, and he might have a broke ankle, I don't know. But other than that, he's okay. And
they're already speculating here, will this end Richard Petty's career? Obviously, it's too soon to answer that question based on any conscious thought. But your reaction, he's been doing this a long time. He's done everything there is to do. Does your cousin still need to be out there driving these things?
No, I mean, it's up to him. He says he enjoys it, but I'm sure he didn't enjoy that ride. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens from here. But they're going to put him in the hospital, and he said they might keep him overnight. So we'll just have to wait and see from there. But it was a bad one, but the car held up good, even though it come apart, and that's not bad because he's still, talking, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Analytical viewpoint from the crew chief. Let's go down to Mike Joy.
I'm with Richard Childress, the owner of the 1987 championship car driven by Dale Earnhardt. And as Dale Inman told the nation about Richard Petty's condition, Richard was relaying it to his driver. When Dale came around the racetrack after Richard had his crash, you got a real urgent call on the radio. Tell us about it.
Well, he wanted to know how Richard was. He was real concerned. He said he looked like he took some hard licks, and he told me let him know just as soon as I found out what his condition was.
Did he have a view of it, or was it all well behind him?
It was all happening on up in front of him, but he couldn't see what was happening.
It's a funny sport, auto racing. You guys run out and bang and bump into each other and race hard to win. But when something happens like this, the concern is genuine, and it's shared by everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we all in competition on the racetrack, but the whole circuit is kind of like a family, and each one of us is concerned about the other.
Let's go back upstairs to Ken Squire.
There's Halifax Hospital. Richard Petty has just been taken to Halifax Hospital, where they will work on that right ankle. What an incredible career he has had. 200 wins. He was first here for that very first race in this 2.5-mile track at Daytona in 1959. He wound up 57th. And miles covered, take a look at that, 265,000 career miles. How far is it? Well, go around the world in that car number 43. And then a little further, considerably further. Say it's 240,000 miles to the moon, and put him right there. And I'll bet you today he thought he was halfway there in about 2.5 seconds.
I can imagine, because that was a wild ride.
But when you see something like that, and you hear his cousin Dale Inman say he'll be out of the hospital tomorrow,
Maybe tonight.
what a statement for how those things are constructed. That was as mean and as nasty an incident as we've seen in some time. Notice here that all the field is being rolled down pit road as they continue to work on that fence up here just at the entrance to the tri-oval. We'll be back with more from Daytona in a moment.